Hey everyone, I hope you've had a great day so far and that you're doing well. For this video we'll be going through a quick, well hopefully quick, unboxing of the little getting started with Warhammer 40,000 packet? Let's say pack. Obviously from Warhammer 40,000. So, and obviously Warhammer's from Games Workshop. So Warhammer is obviously not brand new to me. I've been aware of Warhammer since well and truly 2nd edition, and I'm sure at some point in time I'll pull out some of my older codexes and everything else in between. But yeah, I'm trying to get back into it a little bit. Obviously a lot has changed since I was last actively looking into 40k, so I thought I'd just grab a few little odds and ends to try and get myself back up to speed. So I don't want to get too much, so I just thought I'd just get the little quick getting started pack here, which I suspect will have so obviously 2 models. So I believe that's a Intercessor Marine. We'll have a little Tyranid, not the Termagant, the Termagant, and obviously a booklet inside. So that's pretty much the front of it. And on the back, so pretty much a brief rundown of what you'll see. So some information about building, some basic reading information, so lore and story information, the painting element, and showcase of complete models, and where to go from here. So that will definitely be interesting. So that's pretty much the packaging side. A little bit beaten up, but that's okay. Time to have a better look at basically what's inside this packet. Okay, so with everything out, so we get the one plastic runner of the Space Marine and the Termagant. So on pretty much the left, well, I can't even say left side because it actually is all over the shop. So we'll obviously have components of the Space Marine, Tyranid. Things definitely look pretty different from the day that I used to put things together. Yeah, I remember when legs were separate pieces, torsos were separate pieces, arms and weapons were all separate pieces. Yeah, things have definitely changed. But this does look really cool. And the good news is, it appears that this one will not need glue, given we've got the presence of tabs, etc. So that is actually really cool. You definitely needed glue back in the good old days. So yes, 2 included models that you can build. Now, pretty much the getting started with, it's almost like a nice little consolidated issue of White Dwarf, really. The back of the book, a nice little blurb here, and just a nice action shot of the Ultramarines against Chaos. And guessing by the colour scheme, Black Legion. No? Yes? Yes. Maybe. I'll assume Black Legion. But anyway. So, getting started with Warhammer 40,000. So, pretty much rough contents. Getting started with, so it's actually 88 pages. So, interesting. So, little brief rundown into the 40k hobby. Talking about the game, codices, how to build. So there's the build instructions for each, which is very nice. Nice little battle shot, Galaxy of War. So pretty much your lore side of things. So Space Marines, some different shots, information about Primarchs. So we've got some Space Wolves, Ultramarines. So very nice starting point of lore. Some of the different Space Marine chapters between Ultramarines, Blood Angels, Dark Angels, Black Templars, Imperial Fists, and Space Wolves, and then going into the Tyranid section. Very, very nice. There's even a little bit about the Gene Stealer cults, which is very cool. We've got the Astra Militarum, which is pretty much your Imperial Guard and things like that. The Adeptus Sororitas, so the Sisters of Battle. Adeptus Mechanicus. Imperial Knights, which definitely were not a thing back in my day. The Adeptus Custodes. Grey Knights, which is I'm actually quite surprised, Chaos Demons, that it's actually going through pretty much each of the factions, and this is some really cool art. So most likely Khorne, Tzeentch, Nurgle and Slaanesh, I believe, without actually picking up the book and having a better look. Chaos Space Marines. The Space Marine Legions for Chaos, World Leaders, Emperor's Children, Death Guard and Thousand Sons. Oddly enough, all the 4 with major powers. Chaos Knights. The Tau. The Eldari, formerly known as the Eldar back in my old days. The Drukhari, formerly known as the Dark Eldar back in my days. Necrons. Wow, Orcs. Leagues of Votan, which I believe is the current modern age squats. So I was actually very surprised by that read section, that it's pretty much covering each and every one of the factions. So as a little starting guide, that's actually really cool. It gives you a bit of a flavour for each one, if you hadn't really decided what you wanted to do. Dark Imperium, so still in the reading section, so I'm guessing this is just pretty much taking a step back and going through the general overarching themes and settings of 40k, the 4th Tyranid War, various Warzone areas, and then pretty much moving into the paint section. So how to paint, brush and paint not included with this particular guide. There were other, entry sections, well, entry boxes, probably a better thing to describe them as, that have the included paints and things like that. But I thought I won't go that far, because at least at the point of doing this video, I'm going through the weekly Imperium magazine that was released some years ago. So I'm getting this built up, but I also want to see what my old paints are like. Anyway, how to paint. So it is very cool. You pretty much actually go through each of the actual steps to pretty much paint to pretty much battle ready. And then nice showcase. White dwarf is also obviously good for these things as well, but it is nice to see, pretty much showcase armies all painted up. And it is nice that they're trying to include different armies. Very much a nice showcase of the 4 ruinous powers and a generic demon prince. So just some information here about what to collect. So if you're collecting Space Marines, the Combat Patrol is a good start to bolster your forces. Similarly, Combat Patrol Tyranids is a good starting point. And to be honest, that actually does look like a good starting point. So here we go. Some of the sets I was talking about. The introductory set, which has some paints and tools, and I think 5 Infernus Marines. In fact, it's probably, well, it's definitely that. There's a larger starter set, which gives you even more things, more game, accessories, and things like that. The ultimate starter set, which is pretty much enough to get you pretty much well and truly started. Painted tool sets, some more of these combo sets as well. So I've avoided a lot of these just because this isn't new to me really. And then we have some other things such as, the difference between battle ready, parade ready, transfers and things like that. And then pretty much at the end. Okay, so that was pretty much the little run through of the getting started with Warhammer 40k. We'll call it a set, even though it's more like a little packet. It's definitely very light. It is, knowing what I know, it's very much an introduction type to the setting. So for me, obviously there's not a lot of things about the actual rules and gameplay. It's very much the, here is the universe, here are the armies of the universe, here's what painting these models will be like, and things like that. So for me, I don't want to say it's wasted. It's not wasted. It's a good way to get back into things, but it is very high level. I think some of the other sets will probably be a bit more when they start including the paints, the game accessories, the hobby accessories and things like that, where it becomes a lot more practical. But I've accumulated enough over the years, so don't actually need any more. And I'm pretty sure 12 inches has remained as 12 inches throughout every single edition. Die or die, etc, etc. But it's nice, and it's also obviously good, you know, to get just 2 sample models. I haven't painted in at least 15 years. I'm going to be very rusty. I have no idea what's going to happen, so it'll be nice to just have some extra things to paint, to get back into the swing of things. I do have a lot of my kits and everything from my prime days of Warhammer, so I'm not without things to put together and paint, but obviously it's basically 3rd and 4th edition compared to 9th and 10th edition, so you can already imagine some of the variations in models. Necrons is probably a really good example if you've seen the evolution of Necron models from, if we're looking at 15 decades of painting, I probably would have started around the 2000s regardless. So that's at least 2 decades. 2.5, really, of Necron figure evolution. Very interesting if you ever see the original models of Necrons compared to what they are now. You can definitely see the evolution of the models. That's just an example. So yeah, for me, it's just trying to re-immerse myself back into the setting, see what some of this new kits are like, obviously get a feel for a lot of how the armies have changed over the years, the armies that have been introduced, which thankfully I'm not going to jump into. I'll probably still be very much more of a Space Marine Chaos, Space Marine player. There are other armies that interest me, but I'm not going to try and delve into them too much. Not yet, anyway. Anyway, I'm going to leave that there. I think it's gone on long enough. For those who are completely brand new to Warhammer, it's not a bad thing to grab, but if you want something a bit more useful and valuable for you, obviously you can just go to the very end of the booklet. When I was going through some of those sets, have I gone past them? I've probably gone past them. Yeah, some of these actual, like the starter set and the ultimate starter set will be good. Gives you pretty much everything that you will need. The introductory set's a good way, just from, especially from the model perspective, but you also get some of the paints, so there's definitely a lot of stuff there. And if you're not too keen on some of the written stuff, obviously you've got more of the paint and tools side of things as well, so I actually would recommend that as a starting point, just to give you that initial feel, and then you can expand out. Anyway, as I said, that's pretty much it, so I'll wrap it up there. Thank you very much for watching this slightly longer than expected video of the unboxing and semi-review of the Getting Started Warhammer 40,000 quote-unquote set. There'll definitely be more 40k stuff on the horizon, just building up into it now. Feel free to leave a like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed the content. Hopefully I'll find my bearings with how I navigate through the content as time goes on. Obviously all of this so helps support the channel. I do appreciate it. I'll start having some stuff on my Instagram on the 40k side of things. There's going to be a link to that in the description, otherwise same handle as the channel. With that being said, stay safe and take care, and I will catch you all in a future video, whether it's 40k related or something else on the channel. See ya.